Hey, what's up, guys? Tookie here, back again, finally, with another episode of my Draft to Glory franchise mode series with the California Golden Seals. It was a mouthful of a title. It always has been. It always will be, because I'm not that creative with titles. But what about the Seattle Sea Cattle? That was not my series idea. What about the Manhattan Project with the Rangers a couple of years ago? Also not my title. So I've never claimed to be creative. That said, we are at the halfway point, just a little bit shy of the halfway point of the 2029-2030 season here with the Seals. We currently find ourselves in first place. As far as the team goes, no changes to be made. There was the debate over player types that will continue to be a discussion. For the moment, though, we're going to leave the team as is. Of course, we do have some call-up options as well, which is pretty damn nice. And, of course, we have the best goalie tandem we've ever had, no disrespect to Brickwall Wilson, but whether it's Ben McCauley as a call-up option, Alan Cullen if a defender is struggling, or even Ivan Saprikin, who is killing it, and Stu Crab there as well, things are looking very good for this organization as a whole. So that said, we're going to get into the sim, and I feel the need to kind of explain what happened this past week. If you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitch, you'll kind of know this was coming, but and hell, this goes just in general, I've always been, or not always been, but over the past 5-6 years, I've been on a night-based schedule. This entire time, you've been following a nocturnal content creator. And that's because fresh out of high school, I had jobs that required the overnight shift, whether it be working at, well, Jesus, yeah, I worked at a Denny's, I worked for a supermarket stocking shelves, paying my dues. But yeah, whether it be stuff like that, I've always been on a night-based schedule. But occasionally, I have to reverse that schedule and be a normal person who wakes up at any time between 5 and 9 a.m. And that was the case this past week, as I was planning with some family of throwing my mom a surprise party for her birthday. And it went very well. But I had to be on a normal schedule for that. And it's just kind of weird to plan things out as far as streaming and making videos and stuff like that. Yeah, I slipped up a bit on that. Video-wise, I did okay, but stream-wise, I definitely fell a bit behind schedule. And then, you also factor in, and you might have noticed that the quality of this video is a little bit higher. And that is because I have finally upgraded my PC. This thing, while it's literally a machine, also follows the other definition of being a machine. This thing is badass. It is, like, I can't even begin to explain, and I'm also very disappointed in myself for not just being silent and having to use like as a bridge. I'm very ashamed. But this thing is amazing, and I love it. And in terms of stream quality, video quality, not having to base my entire day around the fact that my old computer took 6.5 hours to render videos. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but only a bit. So I am beyond happy, but of course it took me a little bit of time to put this thing together, to get everything set up, to get all the programs I needed on said computer. But now, that's all taken care of. So we're good to go. This is going to be the only upload for Saturday. I'm hoping on Sunday here that we're able to get things back in order. Speaking of getting things back in order, if our team could start winning games a bit more frequently, that would be nice. But I'm hoping to get things back in order, and whether that be continuing the Seals, the Vegas series, the Bills series, MLB is not yet done on the channel, even though the Blue Jays might be. And I'm also looking at bringing some stuff over to the channel that I haven't done yet this year, for one reason or another. Mainly it came down to the fact that the old PC was pretty terrible. It was literally the least I could, have as a PC to do what I've done over the past 3 years. So it did well to get me this far, but we needed that upgrade, and we finally got it. So, hence why we've only had one video today and over the past couple of days. So I'm sorry for that, but damn it, we're back now. Let's take a look at our lineup, because we are slipping up a little bit. We are now 4 points back of the Oilers. Ivanov still leading the team, but whereas he was only 3 points back of a point a game pace previously, he is now much, much further back. So Luke Baldwin has 17 points but 14 goals, the Brandon Peary of the team. 20 points for Krog, 11 points for Kurt Eddy. Gray, 26 points, not bad. Hossa with 15. Nazarov with 29, 24 assists. How's Roenick doing? 19 points. Okay, so we do have options. We do have options, and immediately this is what jumps out to mind for me, is to make that the fourth line. 20 points for Krog. I think I'm going to keep Gray on a higher line. I want to see how Baldwin and Nazarov work together, with Baldwin being a pure goal scorer and Nazarov being a pure playmaker. Have Krog in the middle, and then we have Gray, Nylander, and Kaliev, potentially. I'm still not extremely happy with that top line, and again, maybe I expect too much, but I know they're capable of more. They are absolutely capable of more. And we can actually have Roenick at center here. He's a natural center. So that's going to be the forward lines moving forward. Go figure. And the defense, not exactly killing it. Pihlstrom's still doing all right. I think we're going to reunite Fuller and Zeeler. But I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned about our defense. Pihlstrom has been doing great. But it's the other three, Fuller, Zeeler, and Richter, that have been a little bit disappointing. And Iliakis hasn't exactly been killing it. 17 appearances, 5 wins. Of course, games played does not mean starts. There could have been some backup efforts there. And of course, when you looked at how many games Sestito had played in, it really doesn't make sense as to that being starts, which I know some people have confused that for in the past. That said, I'm just double checking here. I'm not saying I've forgotten. I just want to make sure that we don't have players here that I wanted to be concerned about, and we don't. Good job, Prior Tug, for setting this up the right way in the past. Defensively, the overalls are good. I think we're fine. I think just going forward, and let me say I think one more time, moving forward, we should be okay. It again comes down to our players actually performing as they are capable of doing. Whether or not they actually do that, who the hell knows? By the way, the Doolin Narwhals, 31, 21, and 6, they're also doing all right. They're doing okay. We'll see what happens, though. Both teams are in that very weird spot right now where they could easily make the playoffs, or they could continue to slip up and have to scratch and crawl their way into one of the wild card spots. So we'll see how this goes moving forward. But I am a little bit nervous about our chances. I mean, obviously, we're on the rebound this season. The pressure is starting to build up in terms of this team finding success as a lot of our core is getting close to their prime or can be considered in their prime. These are our best years to compete. So that pressure is definitely there to find that level of postseason success. We'll see if it happens. First and foremost, of course, we need this regular season success, which thankfully the record's still a little bit strong, but we are losing way more games than I would have expected. And if we lose to Carolina and Pittsburgh here, we lose to Carolina, we beat Pittsburgh. If we lose to Calgary, I think we're going to take a look at the lineup again. We beat them 7-1, okay? Right. This is just odd how inconsistent we appear to be this season, yet we still have 38 wins on the year. Maybe, again, I just expect a little bit too much, but I don't like this win-loss, win-loss. When's the last time prior to that game, prior to the games against Philly and Vegas, that we strung together consecutive wins? As I'm going to stop the sim here. Well, Pittsburgh and Calgary. That makes sense. Whoops. The time before that, though, was my point. Detroit and Columbus, okay. When's the last time we had a 3-game winning streak? That's a better question, and kind of the question I meant to ask in the first place. I mean, we won 3 out of 4 here in this week stretch between the Detroit and Boston games. It just doesn't seem like we're going on those massive winning streaks. You know, we'll win 2 here and there, but the last 3-game winning streak was back in December, so before we started this episode. Makes sense. Let's go ahead and send to the 15th, if it doesn't want to glitch out, which it does, because of course it does. Yep, it's okay. Cool. EA, damn it. Damn it. Why does the calendar glitch? We should fix that. I'm not going to curse you. We should fix that, though. That's something to keep an eye on. because it's my fault and we're already on the 29th. Have I mentioned I feel off my game today? I thought I hit down to April, and I didn't. We're in March. I am not saying I confused the trade deadline thing for the active day either. No, it's EA's fault, not mine. It would never be my fault. But we do have 40 wins on the year. Where are we standings-wise? I am off my game. 88 points this season, so we have absolutely slipped up. That was the point, damn it, of this entire thing, is that we're not exactly killing it right now. We have 6 games left this season. Can we beat the Islanders? We do, 5-1. That moves us into April. Back-to-back, Florida and Winnipeg. Both winnable games. The Jets game a little bit less so, which means we'll probably lose to Florida and beat the Jets. Is that about right? No, we'll beat both of them. Okay, and hey, there you go. 3 straight wins. Ask and you shall receive. We have 3 games left. New Jersey, which is a tough game. St. Louis, which is a winnable game. And San Jose, which is a tough game. The Sharks, of course, have been competition for us throughout this entire series. And we're going to be a wild card team because they're continuing to win games. So that's not exactly ideal now, is it? I told you that it was going to go one of 2 ways. Either we were going to start stringing together those wins and we were going to finish top 3, or we were going to struggle and we were going to have to scratch and crawl towards a wild card spot. And that is exactly where we are. We cannot finish out of one of the bottom 2 spots. We lose to the Devils, beat the Blues. What is the scenario here for this game against the San Jose Sharks? This will, of course, be a playoff episode. And as it stands, oh my God. Well, the good news is we're playing Edmonton in the first round. That is confirmed. Vancouver will have to go up against that ridiculous Arizona team. Holy hell. So we dodged a bullet there. We already know who we're playing, so that's quick and easy. We just get to the point where every team is on 82 games. We did end up beating San Jose 5-1 as well, as funny as that is. We finished with 98 points, a 45-win season. What I want to do, though, if we're going to look around the league, because I do want to look at Arizona above all else, like even more than our team, I want to look at what's going on in Arizona. Let's get an accurate look at what they have potential and overall-wise. You know, before we even look at what we accomplished this season. Funny enough, we have a champions tag as well. Let's look at the Arizona Coyotes. This is the team that led the NHL. Clayton Keller, 91 overall. Igor Kvasha at 29. I believe he went, was that 3 picks after Fragapani? So, there you go. And Christoph Dinger, former first-round pick as well. Dylan Strome developed, 33 years old. Tyler Seguin and Gustavo Mihalik, 84 overall, a former first-round pick. Third line is Matthias Benda, former first-round pick, granted of Tampa. Eriksson Ek and Christian Fisher. Fourth line of Rodney Angelidis, former first-round pick of the Canucks. Mario Sivret, former second-round pick of the Coyotes. And Ethan Sylvester, a former third-round pick of the Coyotes. Should that team have been capable of putting up over 120 points? You decide. Especially after looking at their defense, which is good, but not amazing. Yeah, that's okay. Jake Bean, Antoine Lalonde, former 7th round selection of the California Golden Seals. Not exactly the biggest point getter in the world. It's a nice number, but still, that's unfortunate. Pasi Kuta, the Kutta, is there, former first-round pick with Roy Olson, former first-round pick. Leo Niederberger, former top 5 pick, is with Pierre-Olivier Joseph, former first-round pick. Tell me if you've heard that before. Their goaltender, 90 overall, Alexei Zaitsev. Damn it. 923 save percentage. Former second-round pick of the Canucks. Man, the Canucks really helped build Arizona. Did they not? Damn. I don't know if they should have won as many games as they did, but the sim engine is a mystery. It always has been. It always will be. So, it is what it is. That said, let's take a quick look. I missed like a day or two, and all of my ability has gone out the door. So we're starting fresh. It's a new era with this new PC, and I have to relearn how to speak. Sergei Ivanov led the way. 13 goals, 52 assists, which is good for him, at least. It's a career high. I guess I'm okay with that. I guess. For me, again, up to 20 points for a fourth liner, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. So, of course, I'd like the top line to be as close to point a game as possible, but Ivanov still hit the mark. I'm not too upset about it. He did well. Fragapani, same thing, did well, 54 points. It's pretty much where he's at this point, 4 straight seasons in the 50-point range, granted 2 59-point seasons. It's just a shame that the 77 and the 87 for that matter, it's a shame that was just a kind of a fluke more than anything. And then Dylan Redden finally kind of hit his potential as a goal scorer again, I should say, because he did have another big season a few years ago, 43. He has back-to-back 30-goal seasons, but it's the first time he's had over 35 goals since 2025-2026. And, of course, he started off his career on a pretty big note. I mean, 25 goals, 19, then 37 and 43, then back-to-back 20-goal seasons. So he's refining his form, but under 60 points. Not really happy about that. You look at what Redden and Fragapani should be capable of compared to Ivanov. Ivanov should not be leading that line in points. He just shouldn't be. So, we know that if we're going to win, it's that top line that needs to deliver. Whether or not they stay as the top line is another question, but Redden's capable of more. Kaliev, 18 goals, 23 assists, so he does hit the 40 to 50 range, which is pretty nice. His highest point total since the 2025-2026 season. So, good stuff for him. Kim Nylander, 18 goals, 21 assists, falls short of where we'd want him to be. It's only his second season in the NHL, so he did get better. He is playing with a higher level of competition, but that is a little bit disappointing. And then Aiden Gray, 20 goals, 19 assists, also did not hit the mark. So, that second line isn't exactly what we need it to be. Whereas the current third line will probably just be bumped up because you had Sergei Nazarov hit 44 points. He must have power play time. 44 points. Again, we called him up towards the end of last season. He had 10 points in 20 games. First full season, 44 points in 82, which is amazing. Steve Krogh hit 37 points, which isn't all that bad. And, of course, the penalty minute situation has been somewhat sorted out after we removed his fighting trait. And Luke Baldwin, 25 points. 19 goals, but 25 points. Wow, I don't even know how to react to that. He also had Miroslav Hossa hit 17. That's pretty disappointing. Joel Roenick with 28 points, which is pretty promising. His first full season in the NHL. And promising for a fourth-line option. And then Kurt Eddy with 16 points. So as far as what this team will end up being, I honestly don't know, because you have, all 3 members of that second line put up 18 plus goals. Nazarov, Krogh, Baldwin. This might be the way to go, lineup-wise. Like I said, you could mix and match a little bit, but I do like how much depth scoring we had for the most part. It's a tough call. I think we can leave the team as is for now, but there's obviously room to mix and match if we need to. Josiah Niedermeyer with a career best season, 49 points. That's huge for us considering we struggled elsewhere, but case in point, he's 29 years old. He was our first legit draft pick. Of course, we had the expansion draft, the 2018 secondary draft where we got Fragapani. Niedermeyer was that first pick in the 2019 draft. First pick for us, 4th overall. He's getting up there. Rokon, 31 points, which is great for him. He did have a 40-point season a couple of times, but a plus 35. He was a plus 59 at one point. That's unreal. Barry Fuller turned the season around in terms of plus minus. Andrew Zieler had a great season. My God, is that a career high for him? It is. 44-point season for Zieler. Good stuff. He had, 3 out of his last 4 seasons? No, actually, it's been even better. He's only had 1 season where he had under 30, or under 40 points, I should say. So, his career continues to strive. Colin Richter, not a point getter by any stretch of the imagination. He was a -3. Pihlstrom, 17 points and a +11. I'll take it. Goaltending-wise, Sestito might have just won himself a Vezina, a .931 save percentage. Iliakis with only a .910, so he got worse as the season went along, unfortunately. And down in the AHL, you have Ben McCauley, Stefan Saros, or Vita Loma, who could all be call-ups. And will be pushing for fourth-line spots in the very near future. Defensively, Alan Cullen just ripped apart the AHL as a defenseman. And Saprikin, surprisingly disappointing. I think if they're going to have any chance, if Saprikin can turn his season around, the Doolin Narwhals will have a very good chance at finding postseason success. But that's a pretty big if you look at his track record from this season. So one final look as we finish as the 7th seed in the Western Conference. We will be playing the 52-win Oilers. We do get to avoid the 59-win Arizona Coyotes, however. Throughout the entire league, we actually finished in 6th. That just goes to show how tough the Pacific Division was, which really isn't a surprise. 3 out of the top 5 teams. That's ridiculous. Just regardless. 3 out of the top 5 teams in the NHL were in the Pacific. And then, of course, you had the Coyotes who had that massive amount of separation. Who was the worst in the league, for the hell of it? Who was the worst? Columbus. There you go, 66 points for them. Actually, North Bay, we're heading to the playoffs with the Doolin Narwhal as well, are we not? We absolutely are. Division winning North Bay Doolin Narwhals. Good stuff. I love how it just says North Bay Narwhals because it can't fit the Doolin part. But there we go. Very good season for the Narwhals. Again, if Saprikin turns it around, we'll be looking pretty damn good in terms of finding AHL success. And as we get a look here throughout the entire league, Oscar Weinhandel and Connor McDavid led the way. Only 3 players broke the 90-point barrier, which again kind of helps the top line for us not look as bad. Nelson Rupert in Dallas will be the Calder winner. So there you go. The look at the league as it was in the 2029-2030 season. We now take a step forward. Let's get that confirmation that it is indeed Edmonton. We know it is, unless I'm very, very far off my game. There you go. Let's take a look at what we're up against in the form of the Edmonton Oilers. What are we dealing with here? I'm a little bit nervous, but I do have the confidence in the team to bounce back, to do better than they did in the regular season. That's not to say we were terrible, and to be able to beat Edmonton. We'll see if we can overcome Connor McDavid, though. Here is the team. Jesse Puljujärvi, an 85 overall, 96 overall Connor McDavid, and Clifford Bolton, an 89 overall at 21 years old, a former 3rd overall pick in 2026. Second line is Serge Otereis, perhaps, but we'll call him Otereis. 83 overall, former 1st-round pick of the Oilers, centered by Leon Draisaitl, and Cameron Humphrey on the right, only an 80, former 1st-round pick of the Oilers. You have Owen Tippett, Dylan Larkin, and Connor Brown on the 3rd line. Lawrence Erskine, former 5th-round pick. Zachary Gore, former 3rd-round pick. And Danton Heinen on the 4th line. Is this similar to the Oilers team of today? Somewhat. Obviously, McDavid and Draisaitl leading the way, but Bolton is a game changer on that top line. Defensively, this is going to be interesting. You have Adam Chung, former 3rd-round pick of the Oilers, with 90 overall. Charlie McAvoy, 83 overall. Darnell Nurse with Alexei Novoselicev, an 82 overall, former 5th-round pick. Man, the Oilers had some success in terms of 5th-round picks. Hot Sam Bacho is with Zachary Lampkin, 26 overall, former 1st-round pick. The goaltender is Robinson Emerson. 89 overall. Of course, that save percentage isn't exactly going to hold up. He had a .920 in the regular season. Their backup is Mateo Cool, former second-round pick of the Sens. Will Thompson and Ethan Bear are the healthy scratches. So in terms of an offensive setup, it's probably about even. They might even have the slight edge thanks to someone like Bolton. Defensively, I'd say it's pretty close to even as well. I mean, we probably have the advantage. Our top four, we have the advantage. Yeah, we do. I want to say we have the advantage. And I'm going to say the word advantage at least 6 more times. But it's not as if it's massive in terms of how the EA sim engine works. Like, you could see that defense winning a cup as much as you would expect a cup-winning team to have our defense, is my point. And goaltending-wise, I mean, once you get a goalie above a 78 overall, if you're against me in a playoff series, you seem to do quite well. So there is no real way to know how we're going to do here, so we might as well not waste any time and jump right into this. Are we capable of beating this Oiler team? Yes. Yes, we are. Will we? And will we find some measure of playoff success in back-to-back seasons? That is the question. Let's get down to it. First period of Game 1 here in Edmonton, and the Oilers strike first. It's Humphrey, I believe was the second line right wing. They had the slight edge in shots and a 1-0 lead on the board. Second period, we get back into it. Dylan Redden scores 37 seconds in. Sergei Nazarov gives us the lead, only for Charlie McAvoy to tie it up. 2-2 heading into the third period, basically even in shots. It's anybody's game at this point. Oiler power play early on is unsuccessful, and Baldwin scores. It's what he's good at. Luke Baldwin gives us the advantage 3-2 as we reach the halfway point of the third period. 5 minutes remaining. We have a power play. Can we get the dagger? We cannot. 2 minutes left. Can the Oilers tie it and force overtime? They cannot. It's a come-from-behind victory for the Seals. Down 1-0 at the end of the first period. We battle back, and we get the lone goal in the third period. Baldwin is the hero. Said I was a bit disappointed in the point total, but he did what he does. He scored goals, and it was that third line with Nazarov and Baldwin that proved to be the difference-making line. And, of course, Brock Sestito, with a first star of the game performance, helped out quite significantly. So there we go. We take the first game of this series. Alleviates a little bit of that pressure in terms of maybe changing up the lines. I think we have the right pieces in the right places somewhat. I'd say the right pieces are together, but in terms of lines, we could probably give that third line a little bit more time, perhaps. We're going to have an early power play here, too. Let's see if we can do anything to start Game 2. First period, and that is not the outcome I was hoping for when we had a double minor power play in the first couple of minutes. Owen Tippett and Bolton. Don't remember his first name. I'm sure I'll learn it. He'll continue to score more than likely. 2-0 Oilers. 8 shots apiece. Very disappointing. Second period, we do get back into it. It's Hossa, bringing us back to within 121 shots apiece. 2-1 on the board. For Edmonton, it comes down to this third period. Is there another comeback on the cards? Power play for the Oilers goes to waste. We have a 5-on-3, an extended 5-on-3 that goes to waste. We're halfway through. Is there a late goal here? Doesn't feel like it's going to happen for us. Power play, and Connor Brown scores. Crow gets the goal back, and with 30... Excuse me. So allow me to choke on my own spit for a minute there. I'm sorry. What the hell just happened? It's times like this that I wish I had the face cam on so you could see just the utter befuddlement that's on my face right now as what the hell just happened? I'm sorry. No. First period, Tippett and Bolton down 2-0. Second period, we get a goal with Hossa. We let a shitload of power plays goes to waste. Sure, let's go with that. Connor Brown scores shorthanded to make it 3-1. 1 minute later, Steve Krogh brings us back to within a goal. It was 3-2. A minute and 3 seconds later, Aiden Gray ties it up at 3. 5 seconds. How did Hossa get a shot from there within 5 seconds of a face-off and score to win the game? Wow. Is my only response. Krogh, Gray, and Hossa. 4-3 final, 39 shots to 26, and the California Golden Seals take both games on the road to begin the series. Edmonton was in power play trouble. Oh my God, all game. Krogh, Gray, and Hossa. I don't have a response. There is no response to that. There just isn't. The only response you could have, there are two possible options. Just near stunned silence, case in point with me, or like the kid who got the Nintendo 64 for Christmas. And I don't have that within me right now, because I really can't believe that we have a 2-0 series lead right now. That is one of the more ridiculous comebacks I think I've ever seen, or at the very least, it's been a long time since I've seen something like that. And here we are. We have a 2-0 series lead as we prepare for Game 3 back home in Oakland. I don't know what to say, so let's just get into it. First period of Game 3. Oh my God. So we came back from a 1-0 deficit. We came back from a 2-0 deficit. Can we come back from 3-0 down at the end of the first period? Owen Tippett, Something Erskine, and Dylan Larkin with the 3 goals. Is there another magical comeback on the cards? Second period, we get a goal back. It's Aiden Gray. 22 shots to 19, 3-1 on the board for Edmonton as we begin this third period. Is there somehow an absolutely hilarious comeback on the horizon as we have an extended power play chance that goes to waste? That's not really a surprise. If anything, I'm surprised that Connor Brown didn't score a shorthanded goal. There's 4 minutes left. It's not over till it's over, as we've learned. Unfortunately, it's over. The Oilers did enough damage in the first period. Sestito shut the door from there on in, but too little, too late. We could not get the puck past Emerson aside from that one instance. 3-1 final. The Oilers are back in the series after winning Game 3. You could have argued that they should be up 3-0 right now. Instead, we have the 2-1 series lead. Now, I can't help but notice, in terms of our little setup here, that Ivanov has no points. Fragapani has 1 point. Redden has 1 point. Don't think we're going to win this series with our top players underperforming. Just call it a hunch. Fourth line's doing okay. Nazarov has 3 points. How are we going to do this? You have Gray, Nylander, and Kaliev still doing relatively well. How are we going to do this? Let's, for the moment, just flip Nazarov and Ivanov. Let's handle it that way. That's my one tweak to the lineup, and defensively, top 2 pairing struggling a bit. We'll put Zieler with Niedermeyer, and then the obvious situation is that Brock Sestito only has a .910 save percentage. We are very lucky to have this series lead right now. We need to turn it around. Game 4, this might as well be a must win. We cannot let Edmonton walk back into this series, so let's see how it goes. First period, and for the first time in the series, Edmonton does not score in the opening 20 minutes. 11 shots to 9 in our favor. but scoreless. Second period, no longer scoreless. Howard Fragapani and Arthur Kaliev, although I've heard Kaliev lately, thanks to, I believe it was it Craig Button on TSN in his prospect update. So Kaliev, one or the other. Fragapani the goal, 20 shots to 18. We're up 2-0 on the board. This has been a series based upon comebacks for the most part, and I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying that. Novoseltsev gets Edmonton back to within 1. 10 minutes remaining in the third. Power play, 5-on-3 for the Oilers is somehow killed off. 2 minutes left. Do we have what it takes to hold on, please? Yes, we do. Novoseltsev's goal was not enough. They outshot us 35-25, but it's a victory and a 3-1 series lead to boot. Sestito with 34 saves, Kaliev and Fragapani the goals, and we are 1 game away from the second round. 52-win Oilers on the ropes right now. Nazarov leading the way, a point-a-game effort thus far, but I am concerned about some of our struggling players. We are one of 2 teams with a 3-1 series lead. LA already swept San Jose, which is ridiculous. It's Game 5, back in Edmonton. There's no changes to make to the lineup, nothing. It comes down to this. Can we get the job done over the next 60 minutes? First period of Game 5 is scoreless. Is that a good omen for us? 10 shots apiece. Second period, 1 apiece. Kurt, Eddie, and Bolton. Fourth line for us, first line for them. 19 shots to 18. Third period is underway. Do we have what it takes to seal the deal and end this series? There's Connor McDavid. When in doubt. Power play chance for the Oilers is killed off. 6.5 minutes to go. Is there a late goal on the horizon? There is, but unfortunately, it's for Edmonton. Erskine makes it 3, and that is the second 3-1 victory in this series for the Oilers. Connor McDavid leads the way, and we are going back home. We are going back home for Game 6. Our first opportunity of 3 goes to waste in terms of getting back, or in terms of getting back to the second round, but just in terms of getting the job done. And I'm not really sure here. Baldwin, 1 goal. Krog, Ivanov, truly underperforming. 3 points for Eddie, 2 points for Roenick, 3 points for Hossa. I'm sorry here. We're bumping up Hossa and Eddie. I'm going to reward players who are playing well. 3 points for Gray, 2 points for Nylander. He can stay. And then the 4 points for Kaliev. So, yeah, Nylander can stay. He's not being horrifically outworked by Krog. Then again, the plus-minus. You know what? We're going to give Krog the chance. And as far as that top line is concerned, I don't know if a full-on change is necessary, but this is brutal. This is brutal. Just how poorly our top players are underperforming. Devastating, really. The only thing I'm considering right now is how to set this up. And I think I know. We're going to go... What are we going to go with here? It's a tough call because we have a couple of different options. Nylander needs to be off of center. The big question is, who do I leave on the wing? Do I have Redden back at center, or do I have Roenick stay? And I think I'm going to have Roenick stay. But from here, we're still going to reward players who are actually performing, even though Ivanov isn't. We're going to give him a chance to succeed. So 3 points for Eddie, 3 points for Hossa, 3 points for Gray, 4 points for Kaliev, 2 points for Redden, 4 points for Nazarov. Do we have an extra lefty? We do. It's Dylan Redden. That's fine. So 4 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points. That's how that's going to go. 3 points for Gray. 3 points for Eddie, 2 points for Redden, 1 point for Baldwin. That's going to be the team for Game 6, as I continue to kind of enforce this policy of underperforming players getting the chance to succeed. We are going to change up the defense as well. It's going to be Niedermeyer, Rokon, Fuller, Pielstrom, Zieler, and Richter. Because why the hell not? And goaltending-wise, Stito up to a .920 save percentage. That may be good enough to win the series. Time will tell. But it's kind of a shame, like, visually, like, knowing that Ivanov shouldn't even be on that second line. He shouldn't be. But I'm going to consider Red in the right wing for the sake of this series, and we'll see. Lineup changes, drastic lineup changes like this, and I know I haven't paid attention at all to the North Bay series, which it is what it is. We need our top players to show up. That's all we can say. First period of Game 6 here on home ice, and Edmonton has a 2-1 lead. Rokon gets the opening goal. Connor Brown and Bolton tie it, and then give Edmonton the lead. We outshot them 13-8. We're down 2-1. Second period, we do tie the game. It's Kaliev, 25 shots to 17, 2-all on the board. Can we end this series right here and right now here in Game 6? Our second opportunity of a potential 3. Kim Nylander gives us the lead. But as we've seen, comebacks are possible. Erskine ties it. Bolton restores the lead. Bolton with the hat trick. And methinks we're going to Game 7. Oh boy, Sestito, that is not good enough, sir. A 3-1 series lead evaporates. And now a Game 7 is on the horizon. Allow me to take a look here at what North Bay has done. They have already eliminated the Binghamton Devils in 4 games and will be playing the Utica Comets in round 2. So congrats there to North Bay, although they do drop Game 1 to Utica. We will more than likely be paying very close attention to what they're doing, because if we lose here, it's over. And they'll be the only team that we can follow. So, Baldwin again, just 1 goal, 2 points for Roenick, 3 points for Nylander. Dylan Redden continues to just disappear in the playoffs. Continues. Outside of the cup run last year, where even then he only had 5 goals, and that's a part of the reason as to why we lost. He is just not a playoff performer. 4 goals in 7 games, solid. But he continues to disappoint. And for anybody wondering, like, oh, what's his poise rating? It's an 89. So poise isn't this end-all, be-all in terms of postseason performance, big moment performance. Because Dylan Redden hasn't exactly done it. I am going to flat out reward the players who have actually played well. I don't care about handedness at this point. Let's reward the players who have actually played well. And we'll consider Redden ahead of Roenick. Krog's going to get dropped below Dylan Redden. We'll continue on with this method. 3 points there. Hossa has the tiebreaker off of goals. So, same thing. Eddie will be ahead. We'll put Eddie behind Nylander. Ivanov has 1 point. 1 whole point. I'm going to consider him our worst performer because at least Baldwin's point is a goal. So, that's nice. 5 points for Kaliev. 3 points for Gray. And based off of that little tie there, we'll have Hossa ahead of him. Fragapani with 5 points, and Nazarov with 4. So our top line is going to be Nazarov, Fragapani, and Kaliev. Kaliev, I believe, has the best shot. He does, so we'll keep him on the right. Hossa, Gray, and Nylander. I know Nylander's not the best center in the world, but he's pretty good defensively, so we'll leave him there. Eddie, Redden, and Krog will be the third line. Roenick, Baldwin, and Ivanov. Not exactly the ideal fourth line, but there you go. In terms of defensive performance, Richter has done a whole bunch of nothing, but he's been stable. -3 there, -1. Oh my god. Just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. I think defensively I have him based off of plus-minus more than anything. And we have had some horrifically underperforming players. We're going to have Richter and Rokon as the top pairing. I think we'll probably still have Niedermeyer. Yeah, we'll have Niedermeyer and Pielstrom, Zieler and Fuller, or Fuller and Zieler as the third pairing. And Brock Sestito needs to get his shit together. We are better than this. This series should have been over, and it kind of speaks for itself if we have to answer the question to... Wow, that was a hell of a lot of menu lag. If we have to answer the question as to what went wrong for us in this series, I think the way we've currently based our lineup around who's been underperforming, I think that speaks for itself. Hell, starting Iliakis might not be the worst idea. But here we are, Game 7, first round against the Oilers. Let's see how it goes. First period. Draisaitl with 2 goals. Nazarov had 1 for us. 2-1, despite the slight edge in shots for us. Second period is scoreless. 24 shots to 16. 20 minutes left in our season, perhaps. What a brutal way. Draisaitl with the hat trick. What a brutal way this would be to try and rebound from a cup appearance if we were to blow a 3-1 series lead against the Oilers, talking about that pressure that this team's facing. And I guess the pressure may have been too much. It was. Kaliev gets the goal, but it's too little too late. We blow a 3-1 series lead. Let me fix that statement for myself. We blow. That's all we have to do is just say that, because that was a miserable performance. Brock Sestito, miserable performance. Defensively, after a great season, Richter didn't expect anything point total-wise. Rokon didn't do anything. Niedermeyer was an extreme disappointment. Pielstrom, nah. Fuller and Zieler sucked. So we had our big three. Again, I talked about how our defense is probably better on paper, but that if you look at that Oilers defense, they could outperform our team. They did just that. And then offensively, I mean, Nazarov and Kaliev led the way. Fragapani did all right. 1 point for Baldwin, 2 for Roenick, 1 point for Ivanov. That's a joke. It's an absolute joke. 3 points for Dylan Redden. Again, it speaks for itself as to why we lost. I don't really have a follow-up to that. It's just anger and disappointment right now, more than anything else. I guess in the next episode we'll look to rebuild. I really don't know what changes await us. I mean, obviously we have a draft coming up in terms of expiring contracts. Niedermeyer's deal is up. Krog, Nazarov. There's going to be some changes. And then, of course, Sestito, which I don't know. And then Iliakis is an RFA. So that's the big decision, really, is whether or not we let go of Brock Sestito and just have Iliakis, or do we let go... I mean, let's be honest, if we keep Sestito, Iliakis, we're going to let him go as an RFA and just have Saprikin as the backup, because at least we can get compensation for Iliakis. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and it all comes down to the fact that we just completely blew it in the playoffs again.